We are about to embark on an immersive journey through the corridors of our minds. Stand by as we prepare for departure.
Welcome aboard, everyone, to the Productivity with Peace of Mind podcast adventure. Our journey will begin in just a moment. Inhale deeply and exhale. Our voyage takes us on a captivating tour, diving deep into the intricate layers of our thoughts and imagination. Brace yourselves for the complexities of our evolution. For a safe and enjoyable journey, stay seated, secure your helmet and protective goggles, and keep hands, feet, and legs inside while the ride is moving. Now relax and enjoy.
What if I told you that getting a headshot can be a form of self care? I bet you didn't ever combine those two in your thoughts. But when we use photography and headshots in order to truly uncover who we are underneath and then work through the process to love that person that we find, it's one of the best ways to take care of ourselves and get to know ourselves better on a very deep and authentic level. Without further ado, let's go to the conversation. Kelly Weaver is a portrait photographer who's based in Littleton, Colorado. She works with women in business to help them overcome this fear of being photographed and how to really show our authentic selves, not just to be able to uncover who we truly are, but to love who we find in the process. She has a background as an ISFJ and how she's built a business that fits her personality, focusing on those one-to-one connections. So, really making it meaningful, it sounds like. Well, it's so great to have you, Kelly. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you. Yes. Shout out to the ISFJs out there, the introverts of the world, that love one-on-one connection. That's
Yes.
me too.
Yes, I know. I had to make sure I said that correctly and didn't like stumble through the letters.
Well, and that's from the Myers-Briggs. If people don't understand what the four characters are, yeah, you can go to 16personalities.com and find out who you are.
Yeah, it's super fun. I love all of those tests. But the only piece I ever remember from that one is introvert or extrovert. So whenever they say I or E, that's all I hear. The rest of the letters, it's like la, 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 la in my brain. I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah. Are you an I or an E? Are you?
I Gosh, what was I? I'd have to look it up, but I think I was really tied because I would definitely say I'm more of an ambivert, which is like I love human interaction for a few hours and then I want to go be alone.
Yeah, I agree. And it's how you feel when you are feeling stressed. It's, do you go to people or away from people? Yeah, I'm similar to what you described.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about getting to know the self better and understanding who we are, which is what we're talking about today. And Kelly, you talk about headshots being a form of self-care. And I find that so interesting. But the more you and I talked about it before this, it made so much sense. So, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. I mean, it's not, you wouldn't normally pair the two together, right? Headshot
Right.
and self-care. Most of my,
Yeah.
I know, most of my clients are women, entrepreneurs, often in their 40s, 50s, 60s, that are terrified of being photographed because they've either had a really bad experience, being photographed by kind of those line them up and shoot them photographers. Just saying, that's a weird expression, but many people have done the corporate thing where they just, line you up. And
Yeah.
it's so hard to be authentic when you're in that situation. And we've all had pictures that we just haven't liked about ourselves. So we kind of equate who we are based on that picture. But once you get pictures you love and you put those out there, it changes everything. So at the age
Yes.
you are, at the size you are, with the hair you have, with the body you have, it's very important to have those pictures that you feel are you, that look like you, that you relate to, because you will see a huge shift in energy and just a connection with yourself.
Yeah, and I think that really being able to like uncover who you actually are is so important. And you said also like what you connect with. So it looks like you, yes, but there's an energetic level, it sounds like, where you're like, that's who like I am underneath too. And I know we're going to talk about something that you're offering at the end of the show, but you helped me actually even just change my picture for social media and being able to, embrace a different side of myself that I would normally not pick. And that was just really cool. And even just in doing that, there was an energetic shift for me where I felt more open and free and fun and light with that photo. Where normally I would never pick a candid photo. I always went for the, stiff, perfect
Sure.
smiling pose, just like just
We
that,
do.
corporate, as you called it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I was mentioning to you that it's less about looking good and more about feeling like that is who you are. So it's more about the feel than the aesthetic. And nowadays, after COVID, people not only want to see you, they want to feel you more than ever. So I would go for something maybe not always looking at the camera and
Yeah.
looking away. My favorite cue to my client is just look over there and laugh. Pretend something really good's going on outside. Like pretend something really good happened to you and you're still thinking about it. So it's the expressions that people notice. And there's actually a study out there that says that the more sides of your personality that you can show, the more people trust you. And they're not the
Mm.
perfectly coiffed, perfectly retouched, symmetrical pictures. Often they're just like, oh, caught you in a moment. And that's part of the photographer's job to cue you through that because that's not easy to do. So,
Mhm.
yeah, but that's what's going to capture the most attention. And I love the picture you
Right.
chose. By the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love it. It was really cute. It was you looking up and laughing it looks like in a crowd or at an event or something like that. And it was simple and the background was simple. And a lot of times people get into, I need balloons and umbrellas and balls and bubbles. But really, you just need a very simple background. This is actually my branding background that I use in my studio. But a lot of times it's just black. Like I have a
Yeah.
black backdrop that's one of my favorites. And then I like a fashion gray. So it's kind of a medium gray. But the less distraction people have behind you, and this is a little bit busy for me, but the better because they really see you. You're the one that pops off the page, not the, oh, look at that little lamp over there and look at the little, chandelier over there, just
Yeah.
fill the frame with your face. That's what I always say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you took a chandelier out of my photo too because I followed your instructions in the video that we're going to share at the end, but then you took it even a step further that of something that it's not that I didn't see it, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I was like, I don't love this. It kind of looks like I'm wearing a crown, which is weird, but I was like, maybe people won't notice it.
Oh, well, we got it. Go team. We got
Yes.
it.
Yes. Well, and that's the value of having other eyes on it too, I think, which is important. But then what the other piece that we're talking about is loving the person you find. And it goes back to that perfection piece. It is not about being perfect, right? It's about loving yourself for your own unique traits. And I think that if we learn nothing today, like that, I want to learn that because I want to remember that because there's enough perfection out there. There's enough airbrushed, I mean, the apps out there today are just, they scare me.
Yeah, right. they overdo it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about if you're looking at, like, say, a website of dentists, for example, you don't look for the perfect Barbie doll overly retouched shot. You
Right.
look
Yeah.
for relatability, like, oh, could I talk to that person? Can I connect to that person? Um, and you don't have to overthink it, and a lot, and you don't have to wait to do it, because I get that
Mhm.
a lot. I need to wait until I lose weight, get new clothes,
Yeah.
do my hair. I haven't filled in my roots. I don't have a jacket that fits me. I mean, don't wait, because you'll be waiting forever. And people want to see you now, and not to, you don't want to be using images of you from 5 or 10 years ago. That's a big mistake that people make. It
Yeah.
just, you just want to do it now, and you want to keep it up like every year or so, because I change every year. I change something about me, or I'm going into a different personality trait, seems to be more me than another.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I am definitely more introverted as I get older, and I really value one-to-one connection. So all of my pictures need to say connect,
Mm.
and they need to feel engaging and relatable. So, and when you put your true self out there before you start the process of getting photos, you want to think about what are the 3 adjectives that you want to convey. So usually it's relatability, engaging, friendly, warm.
Mm.
And then when you think about those words as you're being photographed, those will come out in you. And a lot of it is right here. So it's
Yeah.
connecting with your eyes. So
Okay.
it's really right. It's right here.
Well, and I mean, that's really cool because so many people are afraid of, stepping into who they truly are and their own authentic selves. And so it sounds like it's kind of this reframe of, I got to lose the weight. I got to fix my hair. I got to get the right outfit. I got to look perfect versus I want to be engaging. I want to be warm. I want to be welcoming, right? Like that changes, I mean, everything. I've never thought to think of it like that. That's amazing.
Well, and it takes it out of, I don't know, if you do it to really, if you do it for yourself instead of just trying to please others. I mean, granted, these will attract usually the right kind of person when you're putting yourself out there in an authentic way. But it comes from inside out, right? So if you do it for yourself and then you put that out there, I've had women go, oh my gosh, tears, the whole business. It's like
Oh,
this freeing, cleansing thing that I think
yeah.
everybody should experience, because then you look at it and you go, hey, I'm really doing okay. I'm doing pretty darn good. And it's very affirming, and it's a level of self acceptance. And yeah, and I had to do mine the other day. My web developer, I was telling you this, this is on my about page. Said, oh, you need to get pictures for your website. And I'm like, I went through all the same emotions that my clients go through.
Oh,
Well, this will be easy because I'm a photographer. I know
yeah.
how to hop a knee and turn my chin and light my face right and stuff. And so I went into my studio and I'm like, okay, this is no big deal. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, oh, my neck looks weird. Oh, my hair is funky. It's wonky on this side. And then I thought, well, rather than showing like the perfectly coiffed end result picture, I showed
Yeah.
all the emotions that I went through going through that process. And you know what? They get way more attention, if you will, and more
Yeah.
people relate to my goofy faces of all the emotions than the perfectly coiffed one at the end. And they're captivating, and people will engage when they see them, like, oh, she's a photographer and she has, she goes through it, hey girl, let's talk. It's like I'm on your level. Like I am not
Yeah.
above you in any way. I am right there with you because I have the same emotions.
I love the realness of that and the human aspect because and as you're talking, I'm thinking about how when I look at a photo of somebody else who I want to connect with, like, and yours, for example, like, because your social media display photo is like, it's kind of at an angle, you're looking up, your mouth is open. It's it's so inviting. And the word that was coming to me while you're talking is life. Like there's life to you and in you. And it's almost like you were saying, hey girlfriend, like we're already friends. Like I already know you and we're making the connection as I'm looking at your photo and we haven't even talked yet.
Yeah, connection. That's the word. Yeah. And there's a level of
Yeah.
trust that you have to have when you connect with someone. There's a level of vulnerability,
Hmm.
especially if you're going to be photographed by that person, or if you're going to have some kind of um, deeper talk or session, like with your sessions, those women are probably feeling a little vulnerable. So that's when it's really important if you're in that role where you're dealing with someone that may feel vulnerable and a little bit nervous. So like a coach, especially a counselor, um, holistic doctor, those types of roles, especially, yeah, a life insurance representative. I mean, all of those roles, we're
Yeah.
vulnerable subjects, clients that need us.
Right, right. And there's another really cool idea that you shared with me that I want to talk about today, and have you share about, but it's the you vision board. So a vision board of you, like that is one of the coolest things I've ever heard because I've done the vision boards, I've done all the self connection, but I've never brought the two together. So tell us about that because I am so excited to share that today.
Yeah, I just took a little online class on creating a vision board, and it was really helpful. I mean, it was about looking for pictures that actually where you actually feel something, and that was helpful to hear. But seeing yourself, you should be in the middle of your vision board with a picture that you love and that you connect with, and look at it every day. I have clients that I do personal branding photos for that most of them are just like, oh yeah, just give me the digital files. And I'm like, you have to print something. Like, don't just stick them on your computer because
Yeah.
you have to see that those pictures every day. We have a little trio. It's so cute. It's just a little triage of three little pictures. It's a 5 by 10, and it sits on a little table easel. And it's something that comes with like the second package we do, uh, or you can get it. They can get it a la carte. But I always tell them, put this in your closet. Like every day, you should be looking at it. And I have one too. So yeah, and then I have other things in my vision board, but the most important thing are pictures of you that you resonate with. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, especially when it's kind of maybe a new angle that you're looking at yourself for, or new parts of yourself that maybe have always been there, but you're now appreciating it and noticing it versus thinking that you have to be that picture perfect, you know, rigid corporate image, right?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes when you look at it, you'll see that little girl inside of you that did feel super vulnerable and a little bit afraid. And now you're like, you look at you go, you're doing good, I mean, because
Yeah.
I do have a picture of me as a little girl on mine too, where I did feel that. And I had a tricky childhood, let's just say. And looking at where I've come from that, it is very affirming to me. So yeah, I made it through. It was tough, and I'm doing pretty good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even when I am now embracing this new picture on my social media that you helped me with, I actually, now that you say that, I do see resemblance to little me. And it's almost like letting her shine too. And like, instead of trying to change who she is and, be someone that we're not, it's embracing who we fully are. Because I know, like, for myself, through over the years, through injury, through gaining and losing weight, to, now we start getting these little, creases in our forehead and between our eyebrows. And I'm like, what? Where are these coming from? Right? Like, I found a white hair in my hair the other day, and it's not an opportunity to be like, oh no, I no longer fit, society's standard of beauty. But how can we love ourselves through every chapter, through every next folding version and evolving version of ourselves? And how does photography help us find that?
Well, absolutely. It just goes back to, I always say when I show people the gallery at the end, I always say love and acceptance, love and acceptance, love and acceptance. When you see these pictures, love and acceptance, love and acceptance, love and acceptance. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, being grateful for our bodies going into it that way. And I have to say, there's a couple celebrities that have got it down as far as aging. And
Mhm.
Jamie Lee Curtis is one of them.
Oh, she's
Posed for
amazing.
More magazine when she was 40 without any kind of retouch or any makeup or hair or anything, just in her boy shorts and her sports bra, putting
Mhm.
yourself out there. Not that, I recommend, I wouldn't put my clients in sports bra. But it's just she just has a great attitude about
Yeah.
aging. And then, also Caitlyn Jenner, I give her a lot of credit. Bruce Jenner, who became Caitlyn Jenner, lived authentically through all of the transitions that she had to go through to find authentically who she is now. And she said that her photo shoot with Vanity Fair, the 2 days she was at Vanity Fair doing the cover shoot, was the best 2 days of her life. So
Mm.
when she looks at those pictures now, she's like, hey, there you are.
Mm.
Yeah. And Jodie Foster is also someone that
Oh,
I've
love her.
looked looked towards as far as her
Yeah.
attitude about all of the phases that she's in. So, yep, it's good. Step in. That's what I always say right before the session. Step in, do this for you. Good mojo happens when you do this. You'll see. You'll feel really good when it's done. You'll feel different.
Yeah.
All the best ways.
And we talked about, personality tests a little bit in the beginning and understanding who we are personality wise. I suppose as we understand our brain and our mind and our experience, and we do the inner child healing and all of that, we start to understand who we are as a person. I'm sure that blends together with then loving that physical appearance we're seeing, because I don't know, I would guess that it shines through and you start to see like, oh, that's who I am.
And you're making choices to affirm that. That's a
Yeah.
key component. So I could do all the things I used to do when I was in my late 30s and 40s when I first started. I'm now 60. And I think following your life phase is also a good kind of guide. Um, and I was a little bit more extroverted and more of a people pleaser when I was younger. And I kind of squashed how I really was feeling a lot. And I didn't even
Mm.
take the time to realize what I was feeling.
Yeah.
So I did weddings, multi-generational shoots, events, chaotic, crazy photo shoots with just like the really grandiose weddings. Like it's just the things that come to my mind. And I was completely drained, like both before, during, and after. But I never really took note of that until I got older. There is a really good book called Take Time for Your Life by Cheryl Richardson. She is a life coach. She talks about what fuels you and what drains you. And then
Mhm.
I really sat down one day and I thought, gosh, I really am dreading this. Like, why what is it about me that makes me dread this? And I thought, because I'm an introvert and it's really hard
Mhm.
for me I was about 90% wedding director, 10% photographer, pulling
Wow.
Uncle Harry out of the bar and trying to manage the chaos. And I just thought, time out. So honoring your personality with what you do and in seeking those types of clients is very much honoring yourself. And so I only have one person in front of my lens at any time. I never shoot more than one person because I can't do what I do with lots of people that I can with one. I mean, we talk about favorite movies and The Bachelor and I don't know, stuff like that where we like connect instantly one on one, but I just can't do that with groups. And I felt drained afterwards. So, and then kind of noticing when you are in the flow, when you feel like you're completely in the flow, like this is what I was meant to do. Um, and for most many women, they find that later. It's not always right out of college. It's later. And all the things we've ever done, I think comes into play with what we're doing right now. All of those things. I was a software analyst before this. And I thought, how could a software for quality assurance analyst, become a photographer, but it helps me. I use computer stuff every day. So
Yeah.
I think every year you have to ascertain, um, am I putting myself out there in a way to attract the type of client that I want? And am I honoring either my introverted or extroverted self? And also the S in there is a big one for me. That's the sensitivity part. And a
Mhm.
lot of women, I think, are told that sensitivity is a weakness, and
Yeah.
it's really our superpower. So honoring
Mm.
your sensitivity and developing your career around that, um, is very powerful. And yeah, so and that's what I was mocked for and teased about when I was young. So now I'm like, bring it on. I thank God I'm sensitive.
Well, and you talk about this switch from, you were doing the photography, but you were doing it in a way that was just kind of what was available and accessible to you at the time, wasn't really filling you up. You were kind of getting drained. And then now, you have your business structured beautifully to your personality. But I know it wasn't as easy as just that one sentence. So how did you make that shift and what did that journey look like? Did it take a long time? Was it a lot of self-reflection? Did you have to go back and forth? What did that look like?
Well, reading the book helped that, take time for your life. And
Mhm.
I also looked at my website and they always say you show you sell what you show, right? Or you attract
Mm.
what you show, which
Okay.
goes back to putting yourself out there authentically with your
Yeah.
headshot.
Yeah.
I was showing all the things I didn't like. And the weddings, the big events, large family groupings, and also the more people I was photographing, the more people I had to please. So I got back into that people pleasing mode a lot more when I was doing lots of people. But the
Mhm.
minute I took one thing down off of my website that I didn't like, which was weddings, I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. What else can I take off my website? Like, it's like decluttering, you know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
have a bunch of crap in your basement and you start pulling out one box, you're like, "Oh my god, this feels really good. Let's just take all that take all that other stuff out." Plus, it's your old life, right? That's your old life. And, that's why I always encourage people to do new images frequently, because that's your old life that you're carrying into this life, and it's oftentimes
Mhm.
the same.
Yeah.
But once you start pulling those things off your website, um, it's very freeing. And then I realized, oh gosh, everything that I have on there is only one person. Headshots, high school seniors, online daters, personal branding. So all just one person. Um, and it's so much better. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's amazing. And now you work primarily with women who, maybe aren't super comfortable with with what their bodies look like. And so how do you help them, reclaim their self-image and then really step into loving who they see? What is that process?
Well, it's more about expression than it is about your body, I have to say. And everybody can relate to the non-perfect body because we all have that.
Yeah.
I'm sensitive to that because I grew up with that. And
Yeah.
so I'm very sensitive to that. A lot of it also has to do with, wardrobe, sometimes movement, adding movement helps take the
Mm,
focus on, like, if you're just standing there looking at the camera, it's very hard.
yeah.
So moving, and then I show people the pictures as I'm shooting. I'm a big fan of that because when I see a great shot, I'm like, you know, and it's, oh, yes, we got it. Okay, look, we got it. And then I'll often say, oh, look, if all we got were that, you'd be fine. Like, that's it. That was the greatest shot I've
Yeah.
ever seen. And then people start calming down a little bit and getting into it more. And music, I have to say, music helps a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm a
gosh, that would help.
big fan. Yeah, of using music. Because it's just something about having dead air. It just makes it stiffer and harder and less relaxing. So I use music all the time. I'm constantly changing my playlist. It's usually like Shaka Khan, Dua Lipa, um, you know, so gosh, there's a lot of 60s music. I just things that are very affirming with a lot of
Mhm.
mostly female artists. So, but very upbeat and inspiring. So that helps because if you listen to the music, you kind of lose yourself a little bit and it's just easier.
Yeah, I have never had a photo shoot with music, and that sounds like so much fun. That sounds like a party.
Oh my gosh. It changes everything. It really does. So much easier. It's
Yeah.
yeah, so I have a stereo system in here that like cranks. I mean, it's so fun. I mean, the minute you step in here and you hear the beat and we have tea, we have lavender oil, just all the
Okay,
sense.
when can I come over?
It's and that's where the self-care comes from too.
Yeah.
The lavender oil, the tea, like
Okay.
it's a whole it's a whole sensory experience. So
Okay.
it should be. And then there's cafes
I'm,
down here, cute little cafes that go out in
ah,
afterward. So it's cute.
well, that is incredible. Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed with all of that. And then you have a video that already transformed me and my display photos, but I want you to share a little bit about what that is and where they can go find it.
Yeah. Well, I have a YouTube channel, Kelly Weaver Photography, pretty easy to find, and you'll see bunches of videos up there, but there's one on how to pick your social media image. And we all have a love and hate relationship with social media, right? It's
Yeah.
hard to pick the good things from it. And like I met you through social media and
Yeah.
it can be very addictive, and then you're constantly checking to see if people like or comment, and that they're that side. But then there's the other side where
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, there's really good people doing really good things with social media. And so I do have some help with my social media, which helps me, but I'm the one that posts the really authentic videos of me
Mhm.
speaking about topics that I feel most passionate about. And
Yeah.
picking your social media profile image is one of those things that you don't think about a lot of the things that I mentioned in there, like really
Yeah.
filling the frame with your face. Like really, it's your face, and it should be like right here, close, and you can chop your head off, and it's totally okay. Everybody freaks out. Nope, nope. Chopping heads are fine. Fill the frame with your face, like really pull in. You have the little handlebars. Really pull in.
Mhm.
Connect here. Oftentimes, black and white is fun to try because again, you don't have the distraction of, in that case, the distraction of color. So you see expression a lot more readily. And then if you want to try one, just a good first try would just be the look up and laugh shot. Just do a look up and laugh shot. And then put yourself parallel to a window. I've got a window over here, so the light's coming in over here. I've got another light on me over here. But just put yourself parallel to a window and then look out the window and laugh. Fill the frame with your face and turn it to black and white and go off center a little bit. And yeah, symmetry isn't always, the best. It's good to be off center a little sometimes. But the video goes a little bit more in depth on that. It's only a couple minutes, but I think it'll start the shift in mojo just watching that.
It rocks my world because I had never even thought, oh, what is a better approach to your display photo? I mean, especially like particularly when you look at LinkedIn, right? And you're looking to connect with other humans for, professional reasons, or you want to grow your business or you want to grow your career, whatever it is, you're wanting to, display something specific. And on my personal social, I had this picture of me like, I'm on a couch, I'm crossing my legs, and it's my whole body and a bunch of background. So I'm like this itty bitty little thing.
Oh,
And then on
gotcha.
LinkedIn, I was like very sterile, just sitting there, pose, smiling, like very straight on, like nothing, specific. And so there was no life to really either of them. And now, thanks to that video and your guidance, I have a great photo that I've already gotten a lot of compliments on. So thank you.
Yeah, and you will. Like when you change that image, that is the thing that's going to capture the most attention. I mean, posts will do, words are never going to compare
Right.
to your picture in an authentic way, and change it a lot. Like change it
Yeah.
weekly if you can. That's showing the different sides of your personality. Remember, I said that if you can show up to 27 sides of your personality, people will
Yeah.
start trusting you more because it's kind of like you're
Yeah.
letting them in a little bit, right? When you
Yeah.
don't show the perfectly coiffed photo and you show a little bit more of the non-perfect photos, it's like saying, hey, I'm not perfect either. I don't want perfect people. Come be with me. And so,
Right.
yeah, it's more inviting.
Absolutely. Well, we have covered so much value today, and you have shared so much, and I'm really excited about this. And I'm wondering, what is the first thing we should all go do? What's the most important number one thing that we should all go do right away today?
Either schedule a photograph to be taken by someone that you know, like, and trust, or do it yourself tomorrow.
Ooh, okay. Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yes.
like do it within the next week. Just
Yeah.
set that as your goal and put it on your vision board.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That's
Well, thank
key.
you so much, Kelly. This has been absolutely incredible. You've shared so much, and I think this is really important because loving who we are is just as important as uncovering who that is. So thank you for showing us how to do that today.
Yeah, and you're doing good, Lindsay.
Thank you for braving the inside of your mind with me. The better we understand ourselves, the more deeply we understand the world. And as our awareness grows, life just gets better and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave a review and share this with anyone else you think could benefit from listening. A quick reminder that the content shared in this podcast is for informational purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, and the discussions here are not a substitute for professional advice. If you're dealing with a specific issue or need personalized guidance, please consult with a qualified professional. Your well-being is important, and this podcast is simply a platform for sharing insights and experiences. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Until next time.